we're going to start with the hip here. But yesterday, I showed this hip opener, which is very applicable for today. So in sideline position, we're going to start with a nice stretch and opener for the hip. And it goes something like this. So we're going to bend this leg and sit down. And I'm going to stabilize here and at her knee. So come around so that you can see. I want to make sure that it's clear because you're going to have to do this on your own, this last variation. So I'm like this. And I'm going to take the leg here and bring it between my legs so that, see how our hips are nice and stacked? And I'm just going to lean back like this. Not for you, no, to receive. Because of that rip, maybe, not so good. Feel, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Now watch, I'm going to go back slow. Now watch your hip. See how much give is in there? So we do one more time. So inhale and exhale. Really lovely hip opener. So those 2 points that we're going for, particular, this opens up the side of the hip, so that's good for gallbladder 29 and basic intensive fascia. Okay, and release. Okay. Now we're going to come here, and we're going to start with a little compression. And you all can be comfortable, just so you can see this area. So we're going to compress here. So here's a greater trochanter. Here's the ASIS. So in this crescent moon shape, this is all soft tissue. Right? So I'm going to use the palm of my hand to just compress. Now see, it doesn't take much because of the position that our hips are stacked, so the pressure goes straight through. And I use the greater trochanter as the center point, so I'm going to put my fingers on the greater trochanter, and I make sure that I'm behind the ASIS, and it's the heel of my hand that just sinks right down. That'll be easier. And then I switch hands so I can continue. So this is just the opening salvo, just to loosen the musculature. Right. Now, for gallbladder 29 in the belly of tensor fascia lata, we're going to feel for the ASIS, and we're going to first find the muscle here, and it's a little tubular muscle. So it's right here. So you notice that there's this nice groove right here. So I like to take my forearm and just sink into it a little bit because it fits right in there. And it's a broader compression so it doesn't aggravate the point so much. So, but you feel for the ASIS and you come just behind it. And it's the space in between the greater trochanter and the ASIS. This groove right here, your forearm just fits right in there. And you can sink right down. Easy. Nice sustained pressure. And do a couple times with a slightly different angle. And now to go directly into the point. So this was a broad, the first one opened, this was a broad compression, and now you want to try to find the point. So here's ASIS, come behind it in this hollow, one thumb over the other, and we're just going to sink down to go right into the point. And they should feel a little dull ache, and also the meridian is attached to the mouth, as you can see, making a little puckering motion. It's a mystery. I don't know. Thousands of years old and still so many mysteries. So it's sinking right into there. Now, gallbladder 30 is in the belly of piriformis. So, it's a lateral rotator. So the two bony landmarks you want to feel for are the lateral border of the sacrum and the greater trochanter of the femur. And in between those two at an angle is piriformis. And you can check by going cross fiber. And this is also a bigger tubular muscle, like the speed bump of your butt. You know, it's like that little contour. So if you know the bony landmarks, you'll get on the muscle all the time. So that's piriformis. So because hers is a little tight, I'm just going to do a little cross fiber just to loosen it a little bit. And then come around. So here's the lateral border, greater trochanter, here's piriformis. Okay, and then between those 2 points of attachment, about halfway is where gallbladder 30 is. So you want to loosen first with compression, cross fiber, and then there's a little hollow there. I'm going to do braced thumb and have the person inhale. And then I'm just going to ease into it. Okay? Do a couple times. Just like that. Okay? Now, the only other thing that I'd like to do in sideline before we finish in the back is, because of the strong attachment of psoas onto the lesser trochanter of the femur, and because of its attachment into the lower back, it has a strong implication onto the hip. It's a hip flexor to begin with, but because it's the only muscle that connects the lower and upper portion of the body, it's key to do a little stretching of iliopsoas for not only lower back pain but for hip. So from here, simple, we're going to do this. So I'm going to take the leg and bring it back first, and then I'm going to sit down like this and place the side of my leg in their lower back. Not on the sacrum, but above the iliac crest into the lower back. And I'm simply going to lift the leg up like this and start to bring it back. So she should start feeling in the front here a little bit. You okay, sir? So take an inhale, and I'm not going to go back much further. And exhale. Is that enough?
Yeah.
So look at this move. Stabilize. And it has to be above the iliac crest, or else it's going to retard the movement of the hip back. You want the hip to be able to swing back so that it stretches the lower attachment of psoas and the lesser trochanter of the femur. And I brought this leg up to support this leg in this position. All the work is in front of me, so I can just make contact and lean back this way. Right? So that's a nice stretch for psoas. And then I'm just going to have the person come back and then go right into prone, so face down. And we're just going to end like this. So we're going to come in a straddle position, and we're just going to do nice palmar compression into the lower back, and include the sacrum. And when I compress on the sacrum, I not only compress down but away to stretch out the lower back. So you do a couple times. And then you feel for the spinous processes of the lumbar vertebra, and you just come about a thumb width lateral, and this is bilateral stimulation, and you just sink in like this. And you go down a thumb width, sink in. And my hands are open like this, and my thumbs are in alignment. You don't want to encourage excessive hyperextension at the thumb joint. So my hands are open, and my thumbs are in a line, so it's more like the leaning in with the tip